Everyone says start investing early, but what if most people are actually doing it wrong? Millions of people start investing in their 20s, yet many still end up broke or stuck in the same financial position decades later. Starting early isn't enough. In fact, it can even give people a false sense of progress that masks much deeper financial flaws. By the end of this video, you will understand the 5 biggest mistakes people make when they start investing early and the smarter way to do it. We have all seen the charts. If you invest $100 a month starting at age 20, you will have $1 million by the time you retire. But if you wait until age 35 to start, you have to invest triple that amount to reach the same goal. This is the magic of compound interest, and it is the reason why every financial guru on the planet pushes the advice to start as soon as possible. The math is undeniable. Time is the most powerful variable in the wealth building equation. However, this classic example sets up a dangerous misunderstanding. It creates the illusion that simply participating in the market is the finish line. Starting early is powerful, but it is not the whole story, because the truth is, most people misunderstand how early investing actually works. The first major mistake is thinking that small investments alone will make you rich. We are often told that if we just skip our daily latte and put $5 into an index fund, we will eventually become millionaires. While the math of compound interest is technically correct over 40 years, this mindset ignores the reality of inflation and the opportunity cost of your time. Investing $50 a month won't magically create the lifestyle you want. In your first decade of adulthood, your focus should be heavily weighted toward your earning power rather than just your investment returns. Consider person A, who diligently invests $100 every month but never focuses on increasing their income. After 30 years, they have a modest nest egg. Now consider person B, who spends their early years investing in their ability to earn. They might start investing 10 years later, but because they have scaled their income to 5 times what person A earns, they can invest thousands per month instead of hundreds. The sheer volume of capital person B can deploy will eventually dwarf the head start person A had. You cannot save your way to true wealth building if your primary income remains stagnant. The next mistake might be the one that keeps people poor even when they invest consistently. This leads us to the second mistake, ignoring skill and career investment. Your best investment in your 20s and 30s is almost always yourself. Skills compound much faster than money ever will in the early stages of a career. If you have $5,000, putting it into the stock market might give you a 10% return, netting you $500 over a year. But if you take that same $5,000 and use it to learn a high-income skill, get a specialized certification, or start a side business, that investment could easily increase your annual salary by $20,000 or more. That is a 400% return on your money in a single year. By obsessing over a small portfolio early on, many people neglect the engine that actually drives the portfolio, their career. When you are young, you are the asset. Education, career moves, and entrepreneurship are the levers that move the needle. A tiny investment portfolio is a great habit, but a high-value skill set is a great reality. The third mistake people make is obsessing over returns instead of consistency. This is where many early investors lose their way by trying to find the next big stock or timing the market perfectly. They spend hundreds of hours researching obscure cryptocurrencies or individual tech stocks, hoping to turn $1,000 into $10,000 overnight. They chase a 12% return over a 10% return, as if that 2% difference is the key to their freedom. In reality, for a beginner, the rate of return is the least important part of the equation. The most important part is the savings rate and the consistency of the contributions. An investor who picks the perfect stocks but only invests sporadically will almost always lose to the investor who uses a simple, boring index fund but never misses a single month of contributions for 20 years. Market timing is a loser's game for most people. When you try to time the market, you have to be right twice, once when you sell and once when you buy back in. Most people fail at both. The biggest mistake most early investors make, however, has nothing to do with stocks at all. This brings us to mistake number 4, lifestyle inflation. This is the silent killer of wealth building. As people move through their 20s and 30s, they usually start making more money. They get a promotion, a new job, or a yearly raise. But instead of that extra money going into their investments, it goes into a new car, a bigger apartment, or more expensive vacations. This is often called lifestyle creep. If your income rises, but your spending rises even faster, your early start in investing becomes irrelevant. You are essentially running faster on a treadmill that is also accelerating. Two people can both earn $80,000 a year, but if one lives like they earn $50,000 and invests the difference, they are on the path to financial independence. If the other person upgrades their lifestyle to match every single dollar they earn, they are one paycheck away from disaster, regardless of how early they started their tiny investment account. Lifestyle inflation destroys the surplus that compounding needs to thrive. The fifth and perhaps most dangerous mistake is believing that time alone will fix bad financial habits. Many people think that as long as they have an investment account open, they are doing it. They believe that the mere passage of time will eventually result in wealth, but time is only a multiplier. It multiplies whatever you are already doing. If you are inconsistent, disorganized, and prone to emotional spending, time will only multiply those chaotic results. If you are disciplined, aggressive with your savings, and patient, time becomes a superpower. Compounding works for both good habits and bad habits. If you have a habit of withdrawing from your investment account every time a minor emergency or a new gadget comes along, you're compounding your failure. You're resetting the clock every time you touch that money. You cannot rely on the calendar to make you rich if your behavior is keeping you poor. So what is the smarter strategy for early investors? It starts with a simple 5-step framework. Step 1 is to focus relentlessly on increasing your income. Your income is your primary wealth building tool. The more you earn, the more you can feed the machine. Step 2 is to automate your investments. Do not trust your willpower. Set up a system where money moves from your paycheck to your investment account before you even have a chance to see it. Step 3 is to use simple, long-term investments like low-cost index funds. Stop trying to find the needle in the haystack and just buy the whole haystack. Step 4 is to aggressively avoid lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise, keep your expenses the same and invest the difference. Finally, step 5 is to stay invested for decades. Wealth is not built in the buying and selling, it is built in the waiting. Starting early is powerful, but starting smart is what actually builds wealth. The mindset shift you need to make is this. Early investing is not about picking the perfect stocks or making tiny monthly contributions and hoping for a miracle. It is about building a system that compounds for decades. It is about creating a gap between what you earn and what you spend and then widening that gap every single year. Your 20s and 30s aren't about maximizing your investment returns. They are about maximizing your trajectory. If you can fix your habits and increase your earning power now, the math of the stock market will take care of the rest. Most people get this wrong because they focus on the numbers on a screen rather than the person in the mirror. They want the shortcut, the 10-bagger stock, or the lucky break. But true financial independence is a result of boring, repetitive, and disciplined actions over a long periods. Building wealth is simple, but it isn't easy because it requires you to fight against the natural urge to spend what you have and the societal pressure to look successful before you actually are. If you can master your ego and your income, you will be ahead of 99% of the population. But there is another financial myth that traps millions of people and keeps them in a cycle of mediocrity, even if they are disciplined with their money. It is the idea that saving money alone is the path to wealth. In our next discussion, we will dive into why saving money won't make you rich and what you should be doing instead.